Over 100,000 restaurants closed due to COVID-19. However, thank you, restaurants like Scooters are here to defeat the odds. But according to Christian, this decrease is not only attributed to online classes. ¿Cómo debemos lavar ropa? Los CDC recomiendan en el modo más caliente. Who lost their battle to COVID-19 are being remembered through these floating candles that are being dropped into this pond. This device around their neck or in their pocket. When they come into close range with another user, if everyone has been fully vaccinated, health experts say it's too soon to let your guard down. For some people, medians are more than just a piece of concrete dividing traffic. It signifies income. If this ordinance gets approved, this will no longer be the reality. We found this loss can continue even after summer break. The Marion County School District calls it the COVID slide. According to the National Domestic Violence Hotline, more than 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men experience domestic violence in several forms. It started off like any other love story. Werner Nieves met his future girlfriend, they fell in love, and May 2020 they said their I do's. A month into the marriage, he realized it wouldn't be till death do them part.
Empezó con gritos, diciendo groserías, sacándome de la habitación. Cada vez que me veía eran maltratos, todo el tiempo es maltrato psicológico.
Nieves lived in fear. He didn't feel safe in his own home.
Si yo llegaba a la casa y habían luces prendidas, yo no entraba a la casa. Yo me iba y me acostaba en el carro a dormir.
Despite this, he stayed. He wanted to make it work. But one day, she threatened to have him deported.
Are you scared? Idiot, I'm gonna get you out of this country.
After that, she kicked him out. He took off in his car, realizing he had nowhere left to go. Nieves broke down.
A las 2 cuadras me dio otra vez el ataque y terminé atravesado en la mitad de la calle encima de un separador.
That's when he dialed 911.
911, what's the address of the emergency?
I don't know exactly where I'm at. I'm somewhere in Florida. I need help.
Okay, what happened? Tell me what happened. What kind of help do you need?
I have a fight with my wife. She threw me out of the house today. I don't know where to go, but I'm lightheaded. I want to throw up. I can't drive.
Entonces ese día yo salí a buscar abogado y a llamar. Fue el que me dijo. Me dijo, existe esto.
Requires that they demonstrate that they were married to, or they are married to a lawful permanent resident or a U.S. citizen, and it also requires that they demonstrate the abuse.
Under the Violence Against Women's Act, sometimes referred to as VAWA, Nieves may be eligible to become a permanent resident. It applies to anyone who is victim of battery or extreme cruelty committed by a U.S. citizen or a lawful permanent resident. According to the National Domestic Violence Hotline, more than 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men experience domestic violence in several forms.
Oftentimes, it's not physical. It can be emotional. It can be financial.
The hotline revealed COVID-19 intensified domestic violence. Contact volume increased by 15%.
Increased stress causes poor coping skills, and especially in situations where there's already power and control dynamics at play, we definitely see increases.
And because domestic violence and the VAWA self-petition are linked,
we have seen an increase in the last few months in the number of applications that we've been filing.
In 2019, United States Citizenship and Immigration Services received nearly 14,000 petitions. In 2020, that number jumped to about 15,000, making it the highest it's been in the last 10 years, an increase despite it not being widely known.
Survivors don't know that there is relief available, a lot of times because of the language barriers, the lack of information that's available.
If it wasn't for this petition, Nieves says he would have probably stayed in his abusive relationship.
Todo el mundo siempre dice, si se va a casar, pues le van a dar los papeles, pero usted se tiene que quedar ahí, usted no se puede separar, si se separa lo deporta.
Something he hopes to avoid using the Violence Against Women Act to help make his citizenship and the American dream a reality. Pamela Comme, WUFT News. Gabriela Goudet is just one of many parents who saw her kids struggle since new safety measures were implemented in schools.
Es lo mismo estar en el salón de clase.
It's not the same as learning traditionally in the classroom.
And there's an added obstacle they had to face, the language barrier.
Tenía que tomar tiempo de mi
I had to take time off from my job to help them. I would help them translate and would even do their homework. The learning was not for them, but for me.
The dream she had about her kids attending school turned into a nightmare.
horrible.
Horrible. Horrible. Aside from the fact that we didn't have enough devices, we didn't have 2 laptops.
I felt not frustrated but intimidated. I would call my friends and ask, "Did you understand? What did he say? What does he want us to do?"
Trying to learn the language while coping with their feelings made learning much more difficult. However, it's not just them. After a series of tests, Marion County noticed kids in all grades and all backgrounds struggled during the pandemic. Marion County Public Schools Director of Public Relations, Kevin Christian.
We took that test the first quarter, things looked up, things looked promising. But when we took that test at the end of the second quarter, those results dipped, and that causes us great concern.
Marion County saw an average decline of 5 percentage points in kids grades 3rd through 5th. But according to Christian, this decrease is not only attributed to online classes.
Learning with a mask on, learning in a socially distanced classroom.
The district solution? Support.
We are looking at expanding summer school options, some of which we haven't offered in more than 10 years.
Huda and her daughters are slowly overcoming the language barrier and this new way of learning. Despite their improvements, she says her daughters are still performing below their average capacity. A change back to normal is what she wants sooner rather than later. She wakes up, grabs a cup of coffee, and heads straight to the median on Archer Road. For the last 2 years, this has been Jennifer D'Amato's daily routine, making just enough to get by.
Like that's your everyday hope is that you'll make enough to get a room and food and stuff for the night, but that rarely happens.
She believes the way to do that is by standing in the median. This opportunity could be taken away if the new ordinance to ban standing or sitting in street medians passes.
In the middle, you're right there, people are turning, you're right in their line of view, so you get a lot more help.
According to the Gainesville City Commissioner Harvey Ward, this ordinance received positive feedback. He wants the community to understand that it's a matter of safety.
It's not aimed at people asking for money. It's aimed at anyone standing in a median that is smaller than 6 feet.
Ward says this idea emerged after a panhandler was killed by a car back in April 2019.
It's something that I lose a lot of sleep over as a city commissioner, knowing that at least one life has been lost because someone was in the median.
For some people, medians are more than just a piece of concrete dividing traffic. It signifies income. If this ordinance gets approved, this will no longer be the reality.
I know it's dangerous and a lot of people get hurt that way, but I think it should be up to the person whether they want to take the risk.
That's dangerous. No matter who you are or why you're there, I want you to live to do that thing you're trying to do another day.
Ward says the goal is to make streets safer. D'Amato says she finds safety in her income that she believes will be cut in half if the measure is passed. Pamela Comme, WUFT News.